Let's go over this build. We have here today the Archer promotion class, Ranger base class, Archer promotion class. Let's go all the way to the beginning of this this little build that we have here to see what we are cooking with. We've got some rapid fire, which is a channeled ability. It just deals damage, nothing fancy about that. We have a twin surge in here. That is a melee attack. The first one hits and restores stamina. The second hit applies weapon break. 20% reduced damage on your target. So when somebody gets close, that's not bad. Passive clusters in here, bomb bomb, and you know, all of these too. A lot of decks in there, and some other stuff that's fine. The cross slash down here, it is just a bleed. It's a melee attack. It doesn't do a lot other than that. Don't think we'll be using that a lot because we're not melee, but we needed that to get to the passive there. Up here we have barrage. AoE ground targeted ability, 35 meter range. It deals damage. That's kind of good. That's what we're for, right? We got the sweep in here. I really like this one. It's a melee attack. It adds a small buff to a group member, 10% bonus damage. Then you have a choice of using it for a knockdown with a crit modifier of 100%, or to use it as a disengage. Roots your targets, dashes away, and puts you into the ranged tray. Very cool ability, I like that. Skullcracker Stake, it just deploys a stake that increases attack power. We have Fairy Fire passive, a chance of applying debuff, and decreasing physical mitigation by 20% and preventing stealth. I did a little quick test. It seems about 10% chance to proc this on your attacks. Then we have the concussive trap in here. It places a trap, it explodes, deals fire damage. All targets hits are stunned. Okay, very straightforward. We are an archer. It is kind of straightforward. The promotion class here gives us a ranged distance bonus of 31 meters, which is very, very big. We get some proficiencies, obviously. Rapid fire now shoots more arrows, and we get a critical strike stacking buff for each non-crit. It only lasts for 2 seconds, but we can make some use out of it. The concussive trap reduces my target's personal damage mode by 10%, so they take 10% increased damage. And disengage gives us a 10% ranged damage buff. Nothing too fancy, but you know, good stuff. We get a new ability here called the Ricochet Shot, which just does what it is supposed to do. It hits a target and then it ricochets twice to do damage with 100% crit mod after the first hit. The first hit applies a root, but only once every 24 seconds. And if we hit 3 targets with it, we get 10% crit damage buff. A lot of text, good stuff. And we have trick shots in here. We get full movement while we're charging basic bow attacks. And it enhances our passive to do a little bit more damage. And then we have the other node in here just for some damage and some crit. I didn't bother taking a domain because there are already some good ones available. And I was not very excited about these domains. So what have we taken? We've taken Sharpshooter. That is just a AoE root plus a 10% damage bonus when there are no enemies within 30 meters. We have taken the Deadeye, which is a knockback attack, only 15 meters range, but when somebody does get close to you, you can knock them back. And additionally, there's a 10% basic attack damage on there. We have taken a Hunter in here. It will increase our perception and apply 50 attack power buff, and will remove exposed states. A little bit of utility in there, that's pretty nice. The Pack Avatar in here empowers the group, increasing damage bonus and crit strike by 10% for 20 seconds. So just some small buffs in there. One thing about the inventory here, we have crafted a quiver. The fun thing about these quivers is you can change your damage type. So this is a piercing quiver, but you could also turn your arrows into crushing damage, slashing damage, fire, or even ice damage if you so choose. It depends a bit on your composition, on what you're trying to accomplish, but you could change this into a different type. You could change it into even elemental. That's pretty cool. Stats, I've just maxed dex and int just for crit and crit damage. All right, let's go into a melee to see what this does. In melee form, We do not regen any energy when we're in melee form, so you are a bit limited to what you can do in here, but we do have some attacks. Number 3 here is the laceration, which will put the debuff on a target, weapon break, right? 20% damage. So if somebody happens to be in your face, you could choose to use that to reduce their damage by a little bit. Number 4 here is just a bleed. I don't think you're ever going to spend energy or time on applying that, but you could. Number 6 here is our concussive trap. We could also use this in ranged, but also in melee. And then number 9 is our disengage, which I think is very awesome. We get to jab something and we're out of energy. Like I said, energy is a bit of a problem. It doesn't regen in melee. So let's switch back into ranged. As you can see, the energy goes back up and back into melee. And I'll show off the disengage again. So we attack something, we root it, and then we get the fuck out. Oh, the root is on the second attack, and this puts me in the range tray, right? Love this ability. I think that is that one is a lot of fun. We also have our ratio in here, which is just a dash. It's kind of a good escaping mechanism. Number 2 here is the shadow side exposes stealthed guys. The same we have on number 8, but this also gives us a attack power buff, and we have the pack avatar in there as well, but that's in the ranged tray as well. His number is 0, which is just another buff, right? 10% crit and 10% damage bonus. All right, let's start with the ranged abilities that are really awesome, because we have 60 meters range, as you can see, that is this far. So we have 3 abilities that have this kind of range, which is just our auto attack. It is the barrage, and it is our ricochet shot. Bomb. So if you are at range like this, those are the 3 things you can do, and that just already kind of makes rotation, right? You do the barrage, you do your ricochet shot, you charge up a full auto attack, and then a small one, and then the barrage is done again. The damage scaling of the charged attacks doesn't really matter. 10% deals 10% of the damage of a 100% one. You don't get like bonus damage for getting it to 100%. It just scales linearly. So there is that. All right, let's close the gap a little with our ratio. There we go. Let's have a look at the other abilities. Number 3 is our rooting AoE. So when things do get too close, we get to root them. The range on that is 35 meters, so that's still, you know, some range. Our number 4 is the knockback ability. This one is only 15 meters range, but it knocks targets back roughly 10 meters. Number 6 is our other AoE, just a barrage, which lasts for a while and does a decent amount of damage, as you can see. And then on 7 we have this trap here that we could also deploy in melee, and the stake that increases our range damage. So it's pretty straightforward. You kind of just want to stay at like 60 meters range, do that rotation there. But if your team closes the gap, you do have some utility in there with some roots and just some more AoE damage. You got a couple buffs under your belt. You are good at detecting stealth things, and our ultimate is just a lifesteal. We get 40% lifesteal for 30 seconds, and it stops when we have restored 30% of our max health. So pretty reasonable ult. If you get a little low, you can pop that, and you will just regen back 30% of your health, and it looks something like this. Yahoo! We are now blue and CC immune for a while, plus some damage reduction, pretty solid. And it does have 2 charges here, so you are surprisingly tanky with this ultimate for a ranged glass cannon kind of guy. All right, that's all I have for the ranger over here. Fun, straightforward, but good ranged potential here.